I'm Harold, and we got a whole new change of weather here in South Texas. And it's got sort of where it's cold at night and warm in the day, and the rain quit, so everything's doing pretty good. And I started doing a little bit of maintenance in between my projects, so some things just got to be done. And one of the things, the wife's got one of those Seiko musical movement clocks, and that thing fell off the wall. And when it did, it was a real disaster. I came in from the grocery store with it, and I walked in and looked, and there it was in the middle of the floor. And the glass was busted out of the front, and the case was all busted up, and all the little pieces that hold the case on were busted loose. Sort of a disaster. And she was upset because she really liked that clock. But all this stuff in here, the carousel still works, and the thing, and all the dial spins, and all the music plays. So when you want something you can't get anywhere, where do you go? eBay. And I go to eBay, and there's a clock, a musical clock, and it says all the movements work, but it doesn't make any music. Well, I didn't need the movements, and I didn't need the music. All that stuff works. I just needed the case, a case that's not broken, and a glass front. So I bought it. Well, won it in the auction kind of. An auction is kind of hard to say you won it. It's more like you're the guy that held out the longest on paying more. So sometimes it's hard to figure that as being a win. But anyway, so I got it in, and I substituted a couple of parts, and I got the music going. And then I discovered that the darn thing plays about every 25 minutes. It'll play music instead of every hour. So I'm just going to go ahead and swap out all the works from the old one into the new one. And that'll make the boss lady pretty happy. And of course, I'm going to have to do it pretty soon. I had the clock here for nearly a week now, and I hadn't got to it. So sooner or later, I'm going to be forced to do something. But while I was ordering stuff from eBay, I ordered some rubber from the rubber sheet warehouse there. And I got something to fix the way cover on my little Grizzly. And then I got a big chunk to go in the back of the pickup truck to make things quit sliding around. And so we're going to work on that stuff today, and you'll just get to you'll get to hang around with me while I'm working and watch. Hopefully you won't go to sleep, at least not too early on. Of course, if you do go to sleep, you'll probably watch the whole video. And I'm gonna take a chance on getting in trouble with the people up in Minnesota. I mean, nobody cares about rednecks. You can tell redneck jokes, and we're kind of an unprotected species, and nobody gets their feelings hurt. But sometimes when you go to spreading out too far from home, people can get kind of touchy. But anyway, so I'll give you a Bubba joke, redneck joke, and a Lars joke, or an Ole joke, whatever. But anyway, so Bubba had a boy, Bubba Jr., and he was going to school. And one day, Bubba Jr. comes home from school and says, "Hey, Pop," he says, "I got the biggest feet in the third grade. Is that because I'm a redneck?" And Bubba says, "No, little Bubba, it's because you're 19." Well, let's go pick on the Norwegians a little bit. Lars is a waiter in a restaurant there, and he's talking to Ole. He's sitting there, eating his lunch. And he says, "Ole, do you know the difference between a Norwegian and a canoe?" "And no, I don't," said Ole. Lars says, "A canoe will sometimes tip." Well, there you go. I guess we better get on out and work on the rubber. That'll probably be better than the jokes. Hang on. As you can see, the rubber back down in there is getting just a little bit torn. It's already in need of replacement, and I got some more, which is a little bit thicker. I don't think that was necessarily a good idea, but I didn't have the foresight to go and measure the stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to replace it anyway, whether it's the right thickness or not. probably just last longer. I got 1/8 inch thick, and that looks like it's 1/16 or less. So anyway, whatever, it'll still work out. 1/8, 1/16, whatever. You know, whatever it takes, huh? I think what dissolved that thing was the fact I use a lot of diesel here instead of using WD-40 for cooling aluminum. I just spray it with diesel. On account of the diesel costs about a fourth or less of what WD-40 does, and that's the way us old guys are sometimes. I know that there's a bolt there. There it is. Just have to find it. Okay. I knew it was back there. I could smell it. Okay, come on. Now I've just got to find the other bolt. I've been delayed in everything I'm doing by a lot of different things, and so there we go. That mirror makes everything backwards, doesn't it? Confuses a poor old man. All right. And there we go. In tattered pieces, but there it is. All right, we'll move over to another spot. This little thing here is part of the project that I'm working on that's slowing down everything else. And there's going to be two just like this. There will be a X across here. So still a ways to go, and the other one's only just got one groove done at the end. So but I thought I would stop and do just a few other little chores before I get into that, not the least of which is to make a piece to hold the rubber, you know, way cover on that little Grizzly. So let me get a few other things and we'll get to work. Okay, we'll need to copy the old holes first, and then we're going to make a couple of new ones. This thing vibrates, so everything I lay up here on the little table has to run off. Seems like every machine I got vibrates. There's one down. I've been delayed too by a little bit of tendonitis, so for part of the time I've been sitting around whining and wasting time like that. I do hope that I'm not cutting down into my brand new chuck jaws. Let's see. No, not yet. Well, that's good, but I don't want to. Let's try it some more. Glad I copied Chris B257. Amazing. Making these glass jars with a little step has been a real handy thing to have. I can tell you that for a fact. I saw something fall off of here. I don't know what it was. Oh, piece of wood. Okay, so now then, these guys look pretty much like what was on there. I'll go over there and try it out and I'll come back. How's that for luck? Lines up just fine. So I'm going to put one on each end so I can clamp the rubber between the new piece and the old piece, and then we'll fix the other end. Somewhere back in the back of my poor old brain, a voice said quarter 20, quarter 20. And I think that's what I'm going to do. But I've got more quarter 20 nut screws and bolts than I do anything else. And there's no use having a whole lot of stuff. We'll just thread that and screw it into there. And, well, throw it in the floor. I didn't want it. Alright. Let's clamp things down. I like clamps. Alright. I'm sure this will hold it, I think. I'm gonna put you guys to sleep for a minute while I find my friend Chucky there. If you're gonna have a shop, you ought to make sure you got plenty of room, unlike me, because everything I do is in the way of something else. And that's for a fact. Alright, let's try to... This is kind of laid out by thumb. I use my thumb to measure where to put the holes. Got a little groove that runs top to bottom in that jaw. And I always try to line up the drill bits with that. I like to make a little bigger hole in the little black piece, but we're well on our way to having quarter 20. And I don't know how much perfection I need here, but I do need some deburring, that's for sure. I'll deburr and come back. One time, guys, as well, just use the tap guide. All taps got a hole in them. No, they don't all have a hole in them. And all the tap handles got a hole in them, and no, they don't all have a hole in them. This one doesn't, and this one doesn't. And that's not unusual amongst the stuff I've got here at all. Alright, let's see if we can start that thread a little bit. It's not harder turning from this end than it is from the other end, but it's turning. Well, I got these rubber sheets from the Rubber Warehouse on eBay, and they're twice as thick as what I had before. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is now the way it is. So I'll have to get this thing set up here some way and mark the holes that I need to make in there, and then make holes. I'm not just exactly sure how I should do that. I think I probably should clamp that onto a piece of wood. So I'm going to find a piece of wood and get to work on that, and I'll be back. Okay, so here we are with possibly the last two holes, I hope. And they should be easy enough to get. Hopefully I'll let it eat out enough to make it. This isn't the best vantage point to watch that from, but that's what we got right now, so it'll probably have to do. Here we go with our new way cover. And this isn't all of the rubber I bought. I bought a great big sheet of it for another little job, which I'll be working on here in a few minutes. And I may just go ahead and include it in the video, at least some of it. I think that's the hole right there. Okay, Pierre, which way do I need to go? Don't just sit there asleep. Okay, after cutting the hole a little bit bigger, I think I'm well on the way now. While I was ordering from the Rubber Warehouse, I decided to get a big piece of rubber for a bigger job. And let's see if we can open it up here without tearing everything up or cutting everything. A little bit of package, I guess, so rednecks can't cut it all up. They're ahead of it. All right. Now that right there, that's a hunk of rubber there. And we're going to use it to make things quit sliding around in the back of this pickup truck. because I don't like to put stuff in the back and then when I come back I have to drag it out from the front. So we're going to make the most of the bed non-skid. Not all of it, but the most of it. Yeah, that's a lot of rubber. And I guess, yeah, could be about right. There. That's relatively straight. I know, I'm sorry. Whoa, I know you can't see anything. And I keep falling around here in the back of the truck. So, move you up close to the edge. What I've got is some silicone seal I'm going to put under this. And I'll be right back with it. Got this good stuff here. And I'm going to try to seal the edges down so that it won't move around on me when I'm putting stuff in here. Just a little here and there. I don't imagine it's going to take a lot. Alright, now then, I'll put some up at this other end. And we'll call it a day. Okay, I bet that'll make it work just fine. I'll give you a little shot here. There's some little strips of silicone seal, and I'll just flop the rubber over it, and we'll call it done until we find out if there's something wrong with that. Okay. Nothing spreads things out good like a fat old redneck. Alright. Now then all we need to do is get that plastic sheet off of it. Come on. And there we go. We're in business. That ought to be enough work for today, wouldn't you think? I don't know. I might ought to check with the boss lady. But anyway, thanks for viewing. Y'all come back now. Oh, and please click that subscribe button, and there's a little gear beside it. If you click the little gear, you'll get a choice to be notified when anything new shows up on the channel. Anyway, bye now.